And good morning. Welcome to our special Out and About program. Today, focus on Stafford County. Steve Webster, your host. Welcome to the program. Talk about all the great things happening to the south of Great Bend. Joining us, we have a full studio today, including Stafford County Economic Development Director Carolyn Dunn, Stafford County EcoDevo Program Director Ashley Bevan, and special guest to the program today, Executive Director of the Golden Belt Community Foundation, Christy Tustin. Welcome to the program. Today we have you always worry about things to talk about, Carolyn, and then we end up running short on time. So
it happens.
Probably because I gabbed too much right at the beginning of the program. But glad you guys could be here. It's our once-a-month visit with Stafford County Economic Development. But this is a big day for you, Ashley, because you get to go first today.
Okay.
All right. You were involved with some entrepreneurship competitions. We were talking about this, and you got to go up to Manhattan and Hayes and tell me about some of the successes the kids in Stafford County had in these competitions.
Yeah, so back in March, we had our regional event. Hodgman County hosted that, and we had 4 different teams from Stafford High School present. One team placed third, and then all of them submitted videos and executive summaries for the competitions at K-State and Hayes. A team of 2 students, their business name, Scan from the Past, was selected to participate in both of these events. Up at K-State, they made it into the top 4 final presentations in the afternoon and ended up walking away with 4th and a prize of $1,500. And then this Monday, they went to Hayes and gave a 2-minute pitch to a panel of judges, and they didn't make it to the finals. But they have gained a lot of experience with public speaking through this, so I'm proud of them.
How many different students was this from the entire state?
This was both of them.
Wow.
Yeah. Hayes, Network Kansas, we're in e-community with them, and so they sponsored the event in Hayes on Monday, and then K-State's was just a state event for anybody to participate in as well.
Who was more nervous, the kids or the coach?
The kids.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you weren't over there biting your finger, just okay.
No.
You still wanted them to do good. Tell me about some of the presentations they had and some of the kids that were involved.
Well, to go in more depth with our students' presentation, these 2 kids had the idea to engrave a QR code on marble or granite to then mail to a family to attach to a gravestone. And then they would run a website with this deceased person's information or life history that anyone walking through a cemetery could access. So it was an intriguing idea that I hadn't heard about before.
They came up with it on their own?
No, I actually think
okay, all right.
Some alumni of Stafford walked through the Seed Center one day and gave them this idea, and they ran with it. So.
Okay, because, Gosh, you'd wanted the patent office there. Make sure someone didn't take your idea on that. That is a fantastic idea. So tell me about this program and how it culminated, kind of just a brief history of how it culminated in these trips to Manhattan and then to Hayes.
So last year, Network Kansas partnered with K-State to host their event. And again, this year they partnered with Fort Hayes. Our e-community partnership, we have small loans that we can give to entrepreneurs in our communities to start their business. And then in addition, we promote entrepreneurship with our youth. They're our next generation. They're our future.
I know that you had to be a proud person as well, Carolyn, because this is what you are, entrepreneurship. And I know some of these kids probably started coming through your program when they were really young.
Now that you mention it, I hadn't thought about it, but I think Bobby, one of the 2 that presented at all 3 locations, I think he came up here in entrepreneurship camp in the very first year when do you remember we had a studio full of kids recording their own?
We had a radio station full of kids that day.
Yes, and well, so you were very gracious to work with them off the air. They each made a real recording of an advertisement for their proposed business in the course of this camp. So that was, I think, maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's a senior this year and did really
well.
Really? Uh-huh.
Gosh darn it. See, I'm part of the team, too. I feel good about this. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to tell you about something called REDPIN. It's Rural Economic Development, Philanthropy, Innovators Network. Okay, I'll practice during the break. We'll be back and talk about it right after this. Welcome back. Focus on Stafford County today on 1590 KVGB, 97.7 FM. And joining us in studio, we heard from Ashley Bevan, also Carolyn Dunn, and Executive Director of the Golden Belt Community Foundation, Christy Tustin, is in with us today. And Carolyn, what we're going to talk about is REDPIN, Rural Economic Development Philanthropy Innovators Network. And kind of tell me about this. I know Christy is here to help us explain that and let us know what's going on here.
Well, I actually may let Christy do the fundamental explanation of this, but it's a program that I'm excited to be a part of through the Community Foundation. Really, I think Christy would explain it best.
Yeah, Christy, you've always got a lot of great things going on over there at the foundation. You've done a fantastic job leading that organization. Tell me about the latest initiative that we have going on here.
Well, we were very excited to be a part of this new initiative. We've taken a really hard look back. We did a listening tour, talked to our communities last year, and then early this year, this opportunity came out. This REDPIN is a partnership between the Aspen Institute Community Strategies Group and the Center for Rural Entrepreneurship. And this is for place-based rural community foundations. And it was to explore economic development philanthropy. So when this came across, our board was very supportive. We wanted to apply.
Was this something were the town hall meetings and things like that part of this effort, or did it just kind of lead to it, or is this just kind of something else that's taking place now?
I think it's all kind of leading on to the next thing. So we didn't know about this effort, but we feel it fits in with our work and our interests and some of our other organizations like Stafford County Economic Development's work and our other rural communities. Much of what these communities face are very similar in nature. And so it will be very interesting to be a part of this network.
Tell me some of the hoped-for outcomes that you're looking for here.
Well, there's 9 community foundations that were chosen across the country, and it's really a learning network. And so it's trying to figure out how economic development can be done differently. How can the community foundations or philanthropy help achieve greater things for all of our communities, greater prosperity for all, help low-income families, help businesses prosper? There's many, many ways this could look. And it's not that we have it all figured out today, but over the course of this 18-month program, we hope to learn how we can better partner with communities in all 4 of our counties.
Where are the foundations? They mentioned there's 9 that are part of this. That's kind of neat right there, isn't it?
It is. It's exciting because they will bring so many new ideas, including some of the work they've already done in economic development philanthropy, whereas we're at the very beginning stages. And so we hope to figure some things out and maybe bring some ideas back home.
Where are these other organizations from? I mean, we have one, of course, right here, but...
we have one right here, and at this time, the whole list has not been released yet.
Okay, because this is going to be interesting, because I would imagine economic development strategies like this are unique to where you're located in the country, maybe? I don't know.
They are, but they aren't. Where this is rural community focused,
okay.
We have some similarities. And even when you say rural communities, there's a wide range in population sizes, foundation assets. It's pretty broad, but that's okay too. But I think there's lots of things we can address.
Yeah, we had a young man in here, 2 young men in here that are outstanding graduates of Barton Community College. One's from Brooklyn, New York. One's from Wichita. So the kid from Brooklyn probably thinks Wichita's a rural community, right? I mean,
right.
It's just the way you look at it. Carolyn, what excites you about this program?
Well, just like Christy was talking about, the idea that economic development is something that a lot of us recognize as something we need to make more progress on if we want to have the kinds of impact I'll say we want to in the communities. You know, we know that, well, even looking back at my years of working with the Leadership Golden Belt program, the idea of population decline was fundamental to a lot of the other social challenges we would talk about. So if we can find more tools to try to accomplish some economic development goals, then I think it's just very relevant to our area.
Some of the things you want to accomplish with this?
One thing is learning not only the financial tools, but the non-financial. Community foundations bring a whole new group that could be exposed to economic development. When we applied, we used an example from St. John with their grocery store and how that's a situation that it could occur in any rural community. It's a vital part of any town. You need that in your community, in your county. And so things like that, how do we keep communities going?
I guess different strategies that people can come up with to get to the same goal, I guess.
Right.
With all of this going on. It is economic development philanthropy. What's that mean?
It is defined as, at least in this program, as place-rooted foundations mobilizing their full range of assets to build regional economies that produce prosperity for all. So like I said, working with low-income families, businesses, communities as a whole to make things better.
So what are we going to see some of the things taking place that are part of all of this that we'll start to see here in the future, and some things maybe take place as far as meetings or things like this?
There will be meetings. Part of this program is to put a team together. Carolyn is part of that core team, along with one of my board members, Melanie Calcara. From there, I'm building an adjunct team of community members, those that have community foundation background and possibly some economic development background. And I don't really know. I haven't gotten into the program yet. We're at the very beginning.
Beginning. Okay.
Yes.
So, well, I want to see what's going to come out here at the end. So what kind of timeline you working with on this?
18 months.
18 months. Okay.
Our first meeting is in Chicago. And so the core team will travel to take place and participate in that effort.
We'll be providing more updates as this progresses, but it's kind of exciting just to have been selected for this opportunity. Like she said, there's 9 nationwide that are participating in this. So it's an honor just to get to participate.
Christy, you Golden Belt Community Foundation, you're involved in so many different things, and I think we learn more about that when we see some of these different initiatives. Maybe talk about maybe your relationship with Stafford County Economic Development and how that works, and then maybe how it works in Pawnee County. The Golden Belt encompasses this circle right here in central Kansas. Kind of talk about how those arrangements work.
Sure. Well, we're very fortunate that Stafford County Economic Development was formed as a 501c3. So it's a public charity in itself, which makes it really easy for us to work with. We can make grants to them. And in fact, one of the grants that we've made that crosses into economic development was a $10,000 grant to support their business incubator program and project. And so that's kind of our first step into some economic development philanthropy. And then we're hoping to expand from there.
Do you see the Golden Belt Community Foundation? I'm kind of in the middle of this wheel, and it's the middle, and then the spokes go out to these different, like economic development, like Stafford County, maybe Rice County or something like that?
I think so. I think community foundations have a unique position to serve as a convener, a collaborator, connecting pieces, donors with causes. And I think there's a lot of donors that would support economic development, philanthropy, or however that might look in their community.
What have you seen in Stafford County since Stafford County Economic Development was formed? They're really kind of a young program, but some of the things that you've seen that have been impressive that maybe you can take to different organizations.
Well, they've made tremendous progress, and I think being that 501c3 has allowed them to leverage a lot of grants, state, maybe federal programs, trying to bring in those resources. It opens the door. And so I think the business incubator is something we're very excited to watch as it gets off the ground and gets going. And the grocery store was actually an example we used in our application. And so I think there's just good programs coming out of Stafford County that hopefully other counties could learn from and mirror.
Yeah, the incubator. How is that going?
We are kind of shifting gears. We've had an opportunity to purchase an existing building. So we think we're going to work with that. We're under contract on that right now. And it'll allow us to get started sooner rather than...
Because you've had interest in that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great news coming from Stafford County. With us today, Carolyn Dunn and Ashley Bevan and Christy Tustin with the Golden Belt Community Foundation. We will take another break. We'll be back with more of today's show right after this. Welcome back to Focus on Stafford. I am completely rattled on the program today. Steve Webster with you. This is 1590 KVGB 97.7 FM.
We learned a little bit in the break about how the FCC works and the way that you've shifted from AM to FM radio.
We're multi-stations now, okay? We're multi-stations right now.
That's great.
Great to have Christy in here, and that's got to be a pretty good partner for Stafford County Economic Development, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They've helped us along the way in several ways.
Well, I'm glad Christy was able to join us here for just a little bit. Tell me about a feasibility study on fuel. Okay. And I know you got the results back this week. Tell me what this feasibility study shows and maybe some of the surprises that maybe you got out of that, maybe some of the things that, okay, well, that's what I expected to see out of this study.
Yeah, it's hot off the press. This is kind of part of the due diligence on what investment makes sense for the grocery store facility. So we had some preliminary analysis, some preliminary data from Wichita State that basically illustrated that people are going to surrounding areas, especially Pratt and Great Bend, for fuel out of St. John, just as they are groceries and pharmacy and probably several other things. So it's not uncommon to see grocery stores and fuel centers coupled. And this fuel feasibility study really, I think, makes the case that is going to improve the grocery store a lot. In fact, the projections on non-fuel sales will increase by about 15 to 20%, according to this. Again, it's not uncommon to see those kinds of things coupled in other areas, in bigger towns and so forth. And this really clearly shows that there's no coincidence to that it's something that will strengthen this grocery store too. And again, not taking away from existing business in our town, because we can see the data is that people are already going outside the county to buy their fuel.
I guess you wanted to get this feasibility study done. What were some of the factors in just wanting to put this out there, and tell me about the study itself a little bit?
Well, investors are interested in seeing this.
Sure.
This is all a part of, setting up a business that looks like it's going to be successful for the long term. And so this is a big component to it. And we commissioned the study so that we would have, independent professional projections on what this adds. Speaking
of grocery store, what we have any updates on what's going on as far as the grocery store in St. John?
This is a big part of it right here is, getting this piece of the puzzle. Again, it I think will increase the investor confidence substantially to see how this could all work together.
Okay. And the pharmacy is locked in, and we're just waiting for the operator.
Right. Right now we've gone through 2 or 3 iterations of store plan, just how it would be laid out. And probably next step is getting bids on that.
This is kind of an interesting deal because from your standpoint, you want to find a grocer. A grocer is probably looking to find. I think you're kind of both sides want to do their due diligence. I know that you're probably not going to let me go open a grocery store down in St. John if I wanted to. I think that would be a wise decision. You know what I mean? I mean, you're doing as much research about potential grocers as grocers are probably doing about St. John and Stafford County, aren't they?
Right. Well, we want to make sure that if we do all the fundraising and the public is contributing through their taxes, that again, that this is a wise investment, that we can expect to get as much back in the rent and the tax. If we do a tax increment finance district, the incremental sales tax and property tax from this facility will go back into financing it. But again, it has to be an operating open facility for all that to work. And so we need to make sure that it's likely that this is going to be successful so that we can pay off the debt related to it. And it's a calculation also that taking this risk, though there is some risk, is less risky than putting even less money, but into a proposal that doesn't have enough volume to be likely to be successful either. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It is a risk to put together, a new facility, but if you do your due diligence and you affiliate with those that have run businesses before, have some track record of success, we hope that that's a less risk than putting $500,000 to $1 million into an old building that sells a fourth of what this one will.
It has come a long ways, and guys, you go back all the way to February of last year when this process got started. And this is maybe, I don't know, an unfair question, but that's what I always do here on the program. You're looking at this thing, and I know you've got a vision in your mind of kind of, what this thing looks like when it's done. What's it look like?
Oh, well.
In your own mind, just kind of what you see when this all comes to fruition. What do you see down there at that location of 281 and, I guess, 5th Avenue in St. John?
Well, I think just the idea of having new construction is something that part of the highway hasn't seen for a very long time. I think that the idea of having something that's new and fresh, and I think that in and of itself will project some energy and will be great to see. It'll be a facility that's a smaller grocery store, but have full range of what we'll have a lot of pride in is a good selection of fresh food. And in fact, we were even talking about the idea that as a ratio of store space, it will have a greater ratio of fresh food than most larger facilities do. So I think we want to have something that has enough selection that people don't feel like they have to go somewhere else to get what they want. And so that's part of what I see. It'll have some amenities that we haven't had before, and the pharmacy is number one on that list.
It's kind of exciting just to think about it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, keep up the good work. Real quick before we let you go today, housing subsidy for new construction. Want to get some information out again on that.
We just want to continue letting people know that the down payment subsidy is available. $25,000 toward new house construction, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family homes, and give us a call at 549-3527 or check out our website, StaffordEcoDevo.com, for more details on that.
Well, thanks for coming up today. And Ash, I'm going to start calling you Coach Bevan.
That's fine.
The entrepreneurial coach, Ashley Bevan. Thanks for coming in on the show today. Also, thanks to Christy Tustin for making an appearance here today on Focus on Stafford County on 1590 KVGB and 97.7 FM. Have a great day, everybody.